In this video, we're going to talk about the free online whiteboard tool, Whiteboard.fi. To create your whiteboard classroom, click New Class and enter your name. There are a few settings to think about. I'm going to enable the waiting room lobby. Depending on what you want to use the whiteboard for, you can toggle on the ability for students to upload an image. The other two settings are to be used when your internet connection is a little unstable or you are in an area with limited bandwidth. By creating the new class, you are then taken to a screen that has your link. So you can copy that link and drop it into Google Classroom before you meet with students virtually. Or you could drop that link into the chat feature during a Zoom meeting or a Google Meet meeting. Another way that you can have students join a whiteboard class is for them just to go to their browser, type in Whiteboard.fi, and have them enter in their room code that you give them. So I am copying the room code right now to show you this method. So here I am joining a class as a student, entering the room code, selecting join class again, and then entering my name. And since I toggled on the waiting lobby, this is the message that I receive until the teacher lets me in. This is what I see from the teacher view. I have one student waiting in my lobby. I can accept them into the whiteboard class or kick them out. And if I do choose to kick them out, this is the message that they see. But since I have a demonstration to finish, I'm going to rejoin the class. And this time I will hit accept. As students are entering the whiteboard classroom, you will see their whiteboard tiles pop up and fill this screen. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a settings gear. You can see that my waiting lobby is toggled on. I can lock a room once all the students in a classroom have entered the whiteboard class. If I decide that I do want students to upload an image, I can toggle that setting on during the session, as well as if I am experiencing internet issues, I can change to slow mode or simple mode in the middle of a session. Hiding names is great if you want to take a look at student work anonymously. I can clear all the whiteboards with a click of a button. And if there's a lot of good work on the whiteboards and I want to save that work and take a look at it later on, I can click this button and save their work as a PDF. Once you are done with a whiteboard session, make sure you click Close Room. The whiteboard classroom does close on its own, but only after 2 hours of inactivity. So you don't want students to be hanging on in that environment without supervision. So please close that room immediately after you're done with it. Here's the teacher's whiteboard. We have the space to work and several tools. We have the free drawing tool, eraser. We can insert text, lines and arrows, shapes, and 2 types of images. The first one is a floating image, an image that is uploaded and can be moved around the workspace. The other one is a background image. When this is uploaded, it is static and it fills the whiteboard region. I can change the color of the pen. I can change its width and opacity. The eraser icon can also be adjustable. So I can use that to erase or press clear whiteboard. Once I have created a whiteboard that I want students to interact with, press Actions, and then I can push the whiteboard to all the students. I can also flatten layers. What does that mean? So here I am adding a circle, and you can clearly see that I can move it around. Flatten layers now makes that circle static. It's stationary. I cannot move it, but I can erase it. The last option under Actions is Insert, and I can insert a grid with small squares or large squares, and I can also input math type. So I'm going to put in an equation that involves a fraction. To create the division bar, press the / button or the question mark. Press the right arrow to jump out of fraction mode. And then when you're done, insert math. I'm going to put that here, and I'm going to put in simple instructions. Okay. Now that I have my problem for students to solve, I'll press Actions and push the whiteboard to all students. This is what the student sees. This is their workspace. You can see their tools above. And above that is a button, Toggle Teacher Whiteboard. This is what the teacher created. You cannot move the text box or the equation, and you can't write on it. You can only write on your workspace. I'm going to change colors and start working. You can see it's kind of clunky, and I'm going to address that in a little bit. Okay. But first, I'm going to go back to the teacher perspective. This is what the teacher sees. I can click on an individual tile and save the whiteboard or erase it. I can kick a student out. And if the student by accident erased everything, including the instructions and the equation, I can push the whiteboard out to the student again. And I'm going to tap Clear Whiteboard, and you can see everything is gone. It doesn't, the teacher version doesn't disappear, just the student workspace. Okay. I can go back. This is what I see as a teacher. I click on the tile, and I can push the board out to the student once again. So sometimes using that pen is clunky, and so I'd like to show you another tool to use. However, I currently don't have it. I would like to be able to use that math type to insert a fraction and add it to my workspace. This is when a teacher can enable student image upload during a session. So you can see right there that the student version changed. The clear whiteboard button that was a lot longer is now shorter, and we also have a second button that allows us to insert. So now we can add grids if we wanted to, and we can add math text if we wanted to. So I am going to put in 3/2 and move it right here. And I'm going to duplicate that and put it right here. And I'm going to change the color and go like that. And then I'm going to change the color again. Oop. And let's insert. And then I'm going to insert one more time. So that's another way that you can go ahead and solve the problem using the insert of math text. And I can see all of that work from the teacher perspective as well. Once you've scanned through all of the student work and addressed any misconceptions, and you've determined that the class is ready to move on, click the settings and click Clear All Whiteboards. And that will clear all the whiteboards in the class. Before we wrap up this video, I do want to address simple mode for teachers. We are currently looking at the whiteboard with all of the available features, which is great, unless you're in a region or a location that does not have a robust bandwidth. If your bandwidth is limited, you may want to use a light version of the whiteboard known as simple mode. By toggling on the simple mode, you get a different whiteboard, a whiteboard with fewer features. You can no longer upload an image, you can't use math type, you can't put a grid in the background, and you don't have all of the shapes. Fewer features takes up less bandwidth, therefore will run faster in an area where the bandwidth is limited. So keep that in mind. You may need it at some point. So that's it. That's the overview of Whiteboard.fi. I hope you found this helpful in learning about this wonderful tool.